Simultaneous equations are two equations like this with two unknowns, in this case x and y. And when you have two equations and two unknowns, you can solve them, in other words find what x is and what y is. So let's do this. Right, the first thing is to lay out your two equations the way I've done it here. The x's, then the y's, then the equals, then the number. Okay, so the x's are in columns, then the y are in columns, and the numbers are all in columns. Okay, so start with it looking like this. Right, the first thing you need to do is pick on either the x's or the y's and get the same number in front of them. Right, what I mean by this is this. Let's pick on the x's. It doesn't matter which, but let's go for the x's. At the moment, there's a 2 in front of that x. There are two x's there. And there are four x's here. But we want the same number of x's in both. So if we can convert this 2 into a 4, we've then both got four x's in both equations. That's our first objective, get the same number of x's. And we do that by multiplying this whole equation by 2, because 2 times 2 will give us 4 x's. Okay, so we're going to multiply this whole equation by 2. 2x times 2 is 4x. 3y times 2, or plus 3y, is plus 6y. And 18 times 2 is 36. Okay? And we've already got 4 x's in this equation, so we're just going to leave it alone. I'll rewrite it here. 4x minus y is 8. Okay. So now you can see we've got the same number of x's in both equations. Well, why did we do that? Well, the next step is we're going to eliminate the x's from these equations, and we're going to end up with an equation with just y in it, and then we'll find y. So the reason we wanted the same number of x's in both equations is if we subtract one equation from the other, the x's, 4x minus 4x is 0, they'll disappear and we'll eliminate them. Okay, so that's the next step. That's why this is called the addition-subtraction method. Sometimes you need to add the equations, but in this case, if we choose to subtract, you've got plus 4x minus 4x is 0, they're gone. Okay? So that's why we're going to subtract these equations. So let's do that. 4x minus 4x is 0. Right. Now this is the bit where people go wrong. So be careful, okay? And you're not going to be one of those people. Listen to me now and you won't make this mistake that always happens here. You've got 6y minus y, okay? There are two minuses here. So often you see people just doing 6y minus y. It's not. It's 6y minus, don't forget about that minus y. And 6y minus y is 6y plus y, because a minus next to a minus is a plus. Okay? So 6y minus y is actually 7y, or plus 7y. And 36 minus 8 is 28. Okay? So we're left with 7y is 28. And now you just use your algebra skills, divide both sides by 7, okay? And you get y, 28 divided by 7 is 4. Okay? So we found y, but we also have to find x. So how do we do that? What you do, you take that y and you sub it back in, or substitute it back in to one of the original equations. Doesn't matter which one. Let's do the first one. Okay? So we're going to take that and sub it back in there. So what do we get? We get 2x plus 3y plus 3. When subbing in, always use brackets. Okay? So brackets for the y is 4. 3y. Do it like that. Always use brackets. Equals 18. Okay? Multiply out the bracket. We get 2x, 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 12 is 18. Take the 12 over there. We get 2x. By subtraction, I'm going a bit fast. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides. Plus 12 minus 12 is gone. So we're left with 2x equals 18 minus 12 is 6. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x equals 3. We've done it. We've solved the simultaneous equations. We found y and we found x. And that's how you do it, using the addition-subtraction method. Now, I'm going to do it again. Exactly the same pair of simultaneous equations. But this time, just to prove to you, it doesn't matter whether you eliminate the x's or the y's. I'm going to pick on the y's and eliminate them. So, exactly the same question again. 2x plus 3y equals 18. 4x minus y equals 8. Okay, so we picked on the x's last time, but now we're going to pick on the y's. So exactly the same thing. We've got to get the same number of y's in both equations. Don't worry about the sign. I know one is plus and one is minus. At this stage, don't worry about that. You're only interested in the number. At the moment, there's 3 up there and there's 1 here. So, to get the same in both equations, we're going to leave this one alone. Multiply by 1 if you like. 2x plus 3y equals 18. But this one, we're going to multiply it by 3, because that'll give us 3y's. So, multiply by 3. 4 times 3 is 12x. Minus 3y equals 3 eighths of 24. Okay? And now we've got the same number of y's. Don't worry about the sign. Okay, good. So now we're ready to either add or subtract. Now in this case, remember the objective is to eliminate the y's, get rid of them. If we subtracted here, like we did there, we'd have 3y minus 3y, which is 3y plus 3y, which is 6y. That wouldn't eliminate the y's. When one is plus and one is minus, you have to actually add the equations. And that will eliminate the y's. Okay? Here, when they're both the same sign, plus 4x and plus 4x, you subtract. But one's plus, one's minus, we're going to add. So let's do it. 2x plus 12x is 14x. 3y plus minus 3y is 3y minus 3y, which is 0. I'm not even going to write 0 this time. Okay? And 18 plus 24 is 42. Good. So now, just to get x by itself, we divide both sides by 14. 14. Boom, boom. And we get x equals 3 times 14 is 42. X is 3. Yeah, it worked. We got the same answer. You see? It doesn't matter whether you pick on the x's or the y's to eliminate. So, let's sub back in. And in this time, I'm going to sub back in to the second equation, just for fun. Again, to show you, it doesn't matter which equation you sub back into. So what do we get? We get 4x, use brackets to sub in, x is 3. 4x minus y equals 8. Okay? Multiply the bracket, 4 times 3 is 12, minus y is the same, equals 8. Okay? Let's take the 12 over here by subtracting 12 from both sides. So we get plus 12 minus 12 is 0. We get minus y 8 minus 12 is minus 4. Okay, so we've got minus y is minus 4. We can turn that into y equals 4 by multiplying both sides by minus 1. Minus y times minus 1, minus times a minus is a plus, and y times 1 is y. So it's just y. Same here, minus 4 times minus 1 is a minus times a minus, it's a plus. 4 times 1 is 4. So we've got exactly the same answers. X is 3 and y is 4. X is 3, y is 4. Okay? So that's how you do, or you solve, simultaneous equations by the addition-subtraction method. It doesn't matter whether you choose to eliminate the x's or the y's. Right, let's do another example. Let's do 5x minus 2y equals 11 and 2x plus 3y equals 12. Right, so same thing as before, pick on the x's or the y's and eliminate them. So let's pick on the x's. 5x and 2x. Right, this time we can't just multiply one equation by one number to get the same number of x's, because 2 doesn't go into 5 exactly. So we're going to have to multiply both equations. It's no problem. So what are we going to multiply them by? Well, you have to ask yourself, what do 5 and 2 both go into? Okay, they both go into 10. So let's multiply the top equation by 2 to get 10x there, and multiply the bottom equation by 5, because that will give us the 10x again. If you always multiply the top equation by whatever that number is and the bottom equation by whatever that number is, you'll always get the same number. Anyway, so let's do it. 5x times 2 is 10x. Minus 2y times 2 is minus 4y. 11 times 2 is 22. Okay? Bottom equation, 2x times 5 is 10x. 3y times 5 is plus 15y. 12 times 5 is 60. There we go. We've got the same number of x's. Now, it's time to add or subtract these two equations. If we subtract them, we'll get rid of the x's because they're both plus 10x. So we're going to subtract. Okay, so 10x minus 10x is 0, gone. Right, minus 4y minus plus 15y. So that's minus 4y minus plus 15y is just minus 15y equals 22 minus 60 is minus 38. Okay? So minus 4y minus another 15y is minus 19y equals minus 38. Okay, multiply both sides by minus 1 to turn them both positive. We get 19y is 38. And finally, get y by itself by dividing by 19. And we get y is 2. That was easy. Okay. Now we're going to sub in y equals 2 into one of the original equations. Doesn't matter which. Let's put it into that one. So we get 2x plus 3y plus 3. Always use brackets when subbing in. Plus 3y, y is 2, equals 12. Multiply out the bracket. 2x plus 6 equals 12. Take the 6 over there by subtracting 6. And we get 2x equals 6. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x is 3. Okay, there we go. Done it. Y is 2 and x is 3. But once again, I'm going to prove to you that we still would have got the right answer if we'd decided to eliminate the y's. So once again, I'll do the whole thing again and get rid of the y's this time. So 5x minus 2y equals 11. 2x plus 3y equals 12. Right. So how do we get the same number of y's? Remember, at this stage, the signs don't matter. We're only interested in the number. Well, 2 and 3 both go into 6. So if we multiply the top equation by 3, we'll get the 6. And if we multiply the bottom equation by 2, we'll get 6y again. So let's do it. Top equation times 3. 5x times 3 is 15x. Minus 2y times 3 is minus 6y. 11 times 3 is 33. Bottom equation times 2. 2x times 2 is 4x. 3y times 2 is 6y. 12 times 2 is 24. Okay, we've got the same number of y's. Now we have to worry about the sign, because it's time to add or subtract. So, if we add these equations, we'll get rid of the y's. Okay, different sign, so you add. 15x plus 4x is 19x. Minus 6y plus 6y is the same as minus 6y plus 6y, which is 0, so gone. 33 and 24 is 57. Okay. Divide both sides by 19 to get x by itself. And we get x is 3, which is exactly what we got before. So it works. And finally, sub back in. I put it into that equation last time, so I might as well put it into the top one this time. We're going to sub back into there. And we get 5x, use brackets when subbing in. 5x minus 2y equals 11. Multiply out the bracket. 5 times 3 is 15. Minus 2y equals 11. Take the 15 over there by subtracting 15 from both sides. So we get minus 2y equals 11 minus 15 is minus 4. So minus 2y is minus 4. Multiply both sides by minus 1 to make them both positive. And we get 2y is 4. Divide both sides by 2. And we get 4 divided by 2 is 2. Y is 2. It agrees. So you see, it works. It doesn't matter whether you pick on the x's or the y's to eliminate. You'll still get the right answer. And that is how you do or solve simultaneous equations by the addition-subtraction method.